Welcome to Seat Time, everybody, the off-road show that brings you all the results, news, and online shenanigans that make being online a good time. We'd like to say thank you to Fly Racing for their support of Seat Time. Please go check them out at flyracing.com. Welcome to Seat Time, everybody. Brian Pierce here, your host for this fine Tuesday evening. It is episode 220. As a lot of twos, just 10. It's an easy 220. We can handle that. Of course, this is Seat Time, the online show for the off-road enthusiasts. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Sorry that we're a little bit late going live this season, but you know what? We're on the internet. We're having a good time, and we've got epic guests for you to talk all kinds of off-road greatness. Of course, quickly, we would love to say thank you to our sponsors. So Fly Racing, Kinda Tire, and SRT Off-Road. You can find all their links to the products that they do sell, either that you can find at your local dealer or online in the comments below. I'm sure that we will talk about some of their products later on as we get into all of this stuff, but those guys are awesome. Of course, you can find us. Everything is archived on the site, and if you want audio only, a Stitcher and iTunes is the best way to go about doing that. Chatroom, tlk.io/seattime. I need to say that just so I even know it's there because I don't even have it brought up right now. So we're going to talk about all kinds of cool stuff. And but before we do that, I want to talk to Thad. Mr. Thad Duvall, welcome to Seat Time, kind sir. How the heck have you been?
Been good. Just living the dream, man. Living the dream.
You are married now.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Unfortunately?
No, it's good. It's good. Yeah, I got married like the weekend after Snowshoe, so it was pretty wild. Actually, at the New York round, I decided to rip half my face off with some twine. So all my wedding pictures, I got this huge scar across my face. So it worked out good, but luckily it didn't happen at Snowshoe, so I had a little time to make it a little bit better.
A little time to heal up. How freaked out? It's Maddie, correct? Is that her name?
Yeah, Maggie.
Maggie, how freaked out was she about your face being like, or was she just like, ooh, look how manly you are, and she just couldn't keep her paws off of you?
She would just like look at it and like pick at it and like spread it apart, and I'm like, what are you doing?
It's not going to heal when you pick it, woman. That's what my mom always told me. What are you doing?
I know. So, but no, it turned out good. It was a good wedding and had a bunch of family and friends there, and just it's been a good summer since then.
I have to ask. Now, I would imagine that there's no immediate plans, but will you have children?
Yeah, down the road for sure. Definitely kids in the future. I'm an only child, so maybe we'll have one just to keep it in the family. So
don't do it, man. Only kids raising an only kid. I mean, that's just so boring. You can be just like so much more insane if you have multiple children.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but yeah, it's definitely in the future. So hopefully we'll have another little Duvall running around in the future.
Dig it. Well, I wanted to say thank you very much for the times that recently you have shared the Team USA support shirt that we're selling right now. So for those of you guys who don't know, that is the Fuel Up shirt. That is available literally until tomorrow evening. It cuts off at 11:59 p.m. tomorrow night, and that is just so we can get them off to the printer, get them printed, get them to the racers, and out to you guys before the actual event happens. Again, we don't really buy shirts and then have a bunch of overhead because that's just crazy talk. So if you want to go to it, seattime.co/teamusa, and that'll bring you to the product page. You can grab some of those. Again, we'll be shipping those hopefully in about a week and a half after we get them back from the printer. They got married. We're talking about kids, all that kinds of stuff. One of the things that was totally epic that happened during the summer for you was you show up at a national enduro and win.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Just, you know, I raced there a couple years ago when they had it there, and it's only about 50 minutes from my house. So we planned on going all summer long, and when the time came, we buckled down and went up. And you know, I just went to have fun. With me, I try not to have expectations like when I go to National Enduro because I know I've never really enjoyed them in the past, and you know, some of them I have fun, and some of them I just can't wait for the day to be over. So, you know, looking at it, I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to go up and have fun. But in the back of my mind, whenever I go to a race, I want to win. So it's just like, even when I go there and the first test was done, and I'm like, all right, you know, like it wasn't bad. It was a little tighter than what I remember. And they're like, oh, you got fourth. And I'm like, oh, man, here we go. This is going to be one of those days where I just can't wait to get it over with. And I went into the second test, and I think I ended up winning the test. So just from there, I just clicked off a couple more wins, and it was funny because like I knew I must have been towing pretty good because I think it was the third test. The third test was like 12 miles long, and it was like one of the tightest tests all day long, and I hated it. I like had zero fun in it, and I'm like, man, I'm just like, that really sucked. But at the same time, I was still having fun. I came out, and I remember Maggie being like, well, how'd you do? And I'm like, man, I don't know. Like, it was bad. And even Dad was like, you don't look too happy. And I'm like, oh, that just sucked. And they're like, well, you got a second. I'm like, oh, okay. And they're like, you only lost by 3 seconds. So I'm like, all right, maybe like I can win this thing. And I think that's when it clicked inside my head that, that was one of the tightest tests all day. And I still was able to get second. And I just think from there on out, it clicked, and I think I got like another second, and then I won the last 2 tests and ended up winning by like 40 seconds. So it was a good day. It was crazy. I want to say that I expected to go there to win, but in reality, I would have been happy with the top 3 or top 5, and to win was definitely a plus. And I think it was definitely good to cap off the summer with it right before we went back to GNCCs.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned something in there. You were saying about the tight woods and everything. Do you think that going in without too much pressure on yourself, like you're kind of like, I kind of want to win, but I know this is, now that you're in here, it's super tight. Do you just kind of have fun maybe, and that kind of kept the pressure off so you were able to actually do better than if you'd have gone in trying to quote unquote race it?
I don't know. Like, I guess it was probably a little bit of pressure off me, but like I said, going there, I was going there to race.
Right, yeah, that's true.
I mean, racing is like it is my job. I mean, I'm fortunate enough to be one of the very few guys that get paid to do it, and it's when I go there, I go there, and they're expecting me to win every time, and when I don't, it's kind of a downfall. So like even I knew with the tight woods that I wasn't going to be my favorite, but I still went there to race, and I feel like I still had a lot of fun doing it, even though it was tight, and I feel like that's what helped a bunch. And I was around. I think I was a little farther back, so I think it helped a little bit. The trail was more beat in, and there was a couple more lines that opened up, and I feel like I definitely had an advantage being back a little bit farther. So I don't know. It was just I had a fun day, and I was around a lot of my friends that raced with me and stuff. So I got to hang out with them in between each test, and it was just a fun day, and super stoked with the win.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I didn't have a clue what the Grassman was. Like, I was like, what is the Grassman National Enduro? So we were talking with somebody, and I was getting them to talk about it, so I typed it in. I was like, the Grassman. I just typed that in. I had no idea that was, like, kind of a nickname for a Sasquatch.
Yeah, like, okay, so when I won, I don't know, I was more stoked about the trophy than I think winning the National Enduro because, okay, there's a show on the History or Destination America channel, and it's called Mountain Monsters. Well, Mountain Monsters is like these group of crazy rednecks, like hang out at the bar every Friday night, like every night, and I have a weird obsession with them. There's a guy on there called Wild Bill. We are actually going to a local race. They're not very far from here. They're out of like probably a half hour, 20 minutes down the road.
Right.
I've heard of them being around like the city I live in and everything. And we were going to a local race, and we were at the gas station, and I look over and I see this guy off Mountain Monsters, Wild Bill, pumping gas, and I like freak out. I'm like, oh man, like this is crazy. Like, so he went inside, and like we're all ready, and like I remember we were all in the van. They're like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm going to get a picture with this dude. Like, they're like, oh, no way. So we literally had to sit in the parking lot for a good 10 minutes and wait for him to come out. So I ended up getting a picture with him and got an autograph and stuff. So like I watched the episodes, and one of the episodes is a Grassman, which it was up by where the Enduro was. So, when I found out the name of the thing was Grassman Enduro, I'm like, hey, this is pretty cool. Like, I'm obsessed with this dude and this show, and I just won a thing that they funded. So It's pretty cool. It was a wild. I think I was more pumped about winning the trophy for sure than I was winning the enduro. But it's a cool story behind it, and that'll definitely probably be one of my favorite trophies from here on out for the rest of my life.
Yeah, and that race being, what did you say, 45 minutes from your house, that is like, you've probably like searched for Sasquatches, right? Like that's like been a favorite pastime of yours while not hunting?
Well, I'm a big time hunter, so when I'm walking through the woods at 5:30 in the morning when it's pitch black, Sasquatch crosses my mind, but I've never really went out and looked for them because if I think I found them, I'd probably poop myself. But yeah, it's definitely crossed my mind when I'm walking through the woods in the pitch black in the morning by myself.
Yeah, no, I think that I remember everybody making fun of like trying to get people to go snipe hunting and stuff like that. So I'd imagine up in your neck of the woods that it's let's go Sasquatch hunting, and you like start scaring all the little kids and shit.
Well, like with the whole mountain monsters thing, there's like the Grassman, and they call like a devil dog, and the lizard man, and
yeah, there's like
a bunch of
a bloodless howler. Is that a thing too?
Yeah, that's a thing too. And then I live right on the Ohio River, and I can literally almost hit a golf ball from my house to the Ohio River, and then there's an island called Buckley Island. And just a couple years ago, they were hunting the lizard man on the island, so they were pretty close to me. So it's funny story with those guys, but it was definitely cool to win the trophy.
This is hilarious. Yeah, like now you've kind of got me Googling this, and I'm not gonna lie, these guys are some interesting looking characters.
Oh man, you got Wild Bill, man. Wild Bill is the man.
Yeah, this guy. Yeah, I could see how you would be like, that is Wild Bill. Like you'd see him at the gas station and be like, that. Yep, because I'm sure he dresses just like this, probably walking around the streets and everything.
Like literally like that. Drives around in like a 1980 beater Chevy truck. Like it's crazy.
You gotta love that shit. Well, yeah, I know. I'm kind of trying. I was like, the damn trophy that you got, that picture of you holding that thing is absolutely epic. And so, that's not a rotating trophy, right? Like that's something that you actually gonna get to keep forever.
Yeah, that's something I get to keep forever. So it'll definitely be on the center of the mantle for sure for a long time.
Oh, I know that for sure, man. And so one last thing on the National Enduro, I wanted to know. You actually kind of touched on it a little bit. I think you were on row 49. What are your thoughts? Someone of your caliber being, I guess, that far back. And granted, they can have 120 rows at these events, so you're even more than halfway in the foreground. But like, do you think like, I guess the reason is because we've seen them move the rows back from 20 to 30, right? So we kind of, and the idea is that they think that between like the 30s is where they kind of have like the prime trail and things like that. And I know that you're not going for the series, so in the long run, we're just playing a speculation game here. But like somebody of your caliber, like a Thad Duvall, comes and wants to race the race, do you think that where you were at gave you a little bit of an unfair advantage in the sense of like a little bit more trail, maybe a little bit more broken in? Obviously, and I don't want to totally call them cheater lines, but that's just what everybody refers to them as, is that, as you kind of go, there's 6 riders on a row, like people just take different lines and they kind of start to form, right? And the further you back, the more they are. So what do you think that like it would maybe, even though there'd be 2 AA guys on a row, like it just put you, anytime somebody like yourself were to come, it's like, well, you're going to be somewhere between 36 and 40, because then you're at least in that first 10 rows. Like,
yeah, it's like I said, I feel like the farther you go back, a little bit of an advantage you got. But it seems like I think I've raced enough to kind of know that 30 through probably 60 to 65 is probably your perfect rows, I'd say. But then I think you're kind of then at your disadvantages if you're farther back than the 65, because then I think the trail just gets so rough and beat out that then you're like just getting beat up all day. And especially like at the earlier rounds when it's in the sand, I feel like it gets so whooped out later in the rows and stuff that it beats you to death all day. But I feel like they've definitely came up with a good thing from 30 back. With the 20s, you're still kind of early, but I feel like I've heard a lot of guys say that it's a lot better that now they're in the 30s. But I feel like I definitely had an advantage, and I feel like those guys definitely talked about me being farther back during the race, because I feel like a lot of the guys felt like I should have been put up on a row earlier. But at the same time, I haven't raced one all year, so I really didn't know what to expect, and I don't want to be up there with them guys and be in the way if I wasn't going to do that bad. So, it's cool that I can show up and actually get on a row. I think it was almost sold out and stuff, but I feel like the 30 through the 60 is definitely your prime rows, and I feel like that those are definitely the best rows. I think the 30 through 40 is really good for sure, but like even for me, I had an advantage at there. Plus, like 2 or 3 of the rows in front of me were all double A guys that they were trying to fit in. So, I had some fast guys in front of me that I wasn't really catching that much, and I feel like with the guys that were up front, they were catching a lot more riders than I was, and I feel like I definitely had advantage being back. Plus, I had the advantage of the enduro guys trying to fit in all the double A guys in between the 20 through 50. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a touchy subject. I know a lot of guys wish they did things differently, but I think National Enduro has a good program going where wherever you finish, that's how you start the next round. So I don't know. I guess I'm not part of the series, so I can't really tell you how they should do it or what they should do.
Right.
But I just feel like I definitely had an advantage being back farther like that.
That's okay, and that's half the reason I asked too, is because even I saw your post. You're like, hope I didn't mess up any points, and luckily you didn't. Bobbitt's been doing a great job, and everybody else has kind of ebbed and flowed a little bit more than he has. So those points that you gained, it really didn't matter much. And even Grant and Stu, even if they would have been like those 2 up, I think still they would have only gotten 1 point each, and so it really didn't shift anything.
Yeah, I hate being that guy that just shows up and messes up the points when I know how close the points are there. But I was there to win, and I did win, so it was cool.
Well, bitchin'. So talking about winning, what's going to happen in Spain for the ISDE?
We're going to win as a team for sure.
I like it. 4 dudes of badassery.
That's the plan. So I'm excited. I'm ready to rip the 300. I'm ready to mix some gas and haul ass, I guess you should say.
Oh, that's going to be epic. So you are going to be on the 300?
Yeah, 300. I actually, lucky enough for me, I really enjoy riding the thing, and I feel like I ride it really well. So I'm excited.
How would we too? It's one thing I was thinking about this. I was on DMXS last week, and I kind of luckily, I've been doing research on you guys and talking about this for a while, but luckily, I totally brain farted. He was like, yeah, so what's the team this year? And I was just like, Taylor Robert, Caleb Russell, Thad Duvall, and Ryan Sipes. And then I'm like, I hope that was right. It came out really quick, and I was just like, oh my God. And luckily I got it right. I mean, granted, but still. And then, but I didn't even realize it at the time. It's 2 KTM riders and 2 Husky riders. I was like, hell yeah. But at the same time, those are the, KTM, obviously, with Auntie as the team manager. I mean, those guys really do put in a ton of effort. And I just think that you guys are the best riders, and you guys are on those bikes. You know what I mean? I really don't think it's I don't think it's a manufacturer's thing. So I don't know if anybody else has made that connection. That's the way it panned out. But I don't think that that's a thing. I think you guys are the best choices, and those are the bikes that you're riding. So, but how was the training camp that you guys went to a couple months ago?
It was awesome. We got to go out and test the bikes that we're going to ride. Ani has put together a really good thing. I think last year was the first time for me. I didn't make it to the one in Arizona the first year, but
right.
I think this was the 3rd year he had a training camp. And, it's awesome to go out there and test the bike and know what it's going to do and change some clickers here and there and get used to the terrain and stuff and shake down the bike. That way, when I get to 6 days, I know my bike's going to be 110% how I want it, how I like it. When I jump on it the first day, I'm ready to go. And,
right.
I feel like that's a definite benefit for me, especially last year. I felt like when I went to Argentina on the Honda, I didn't really get very much time to test it, and I struggled the first few days trying to get used to it. But, with this year, fortunate enough for me, KR4, my team, Frank, he rents bikes out, and luckily he had an extra 300 for me to use all summer. So I've been testing on it and riding it, and it's cool that I'm going to be able to get the 6 days and know I've been riding on the 300 all summer long, and just not at the training camp for a week. And it was cool. We all gelled really well. We're all riding really well, and I think Taylor's definitely riding the best out of all of us. I feel like it's going to be his terrain and stuff, but it's cool that we are able to go out there, and I feel like even the junior team's pretty strong this year. I feel like there's 3 good riders and 4 good riders of us, and it should be good. We've had some really strong teams in the past, and I feel like I wouldn't say this is the best team we've had, because I feel like every year is the best team we could possibly get. And I just feel like this year, hopefully, everything goes good, and I feel like they have a really good plan ahead, and they have bikes all prepped and ready to go, and all the spare parts that we need, and we go over there and do our best and bring home that trophy finally.
Awesome. And then at the training camp, did they do a good job or any job telling you guys about the terrain? Like, what should you expect out of Spain?
Well, we went to Arizona. We were about an hour north of Phoenix. Ani kind of thought that would be similar to the terrain, but it's crazy. Every year, I feel like we all think it's going to be this type of terrain, and we get there, and it's totally different than what I have ever pictured of it being. It's happened to me the last couple of years. I feel like I'm prepared and ready for the terrain, and I get there, and it's not even close to what I was expecting. When we were in Arizona, I feel like it's going to be similar terrain, but it seems like they've been uploading a lot of pictures to Instagram and social media and stuff that some of the stuff actually looks pretty gnarly. And if it's going to be that gnarly, I'm even more pumped about it, because I feel like I excel a little better and stuff like that. But there's no really telling what the terrain's really going to be like until we get there and walk the test. And luckily enough, Taylor was pretty close at one of the World Enduro rounds this year, so he ran over and checked it out and stuff, and said it's pretty flat fields and stuff, and some right on the edge of the mountains. So I don't know, we'll see when we get there, and hopefully it's good terrain and not very dry. Hopefully it's a little wetter, but I feel like last year was pretty good, and they say it's going to be kind of similar to last year too. So I don't know, just we'll get there and we'll see and do the best.
Man, and Aaron and Taylor Robert just got his first overall. Not only did he win the E2 class, but he also won essentially the Enduro GP class this past weekend in France. I mean, that is absolutely epic. That is so stoked for that dude.
Yeah, that's sweet. Taylor's a cool dude. I was able to hang out with him the day after the training camp for a little bit, and went and seen the ranch, how he rides endurocross, and all the trail stuff he does. So it's pretty cool to see him go out and win. I feel like he's definitely the guy to beat when we go there, because I feel like he's got definitely the Euro style now, being at the World Enduros, and hopefully I'll be able to back the team up, and all 3 of us and 4 of us will be able to do good.
Wicked. 2 more questions for you. One of them is from me, and one of them is from Jared Bolton. Which one do you want first?
Give me Bolton.
Okay, he said, plain or peanut M&Ms?
Peanut.
That's all. It's 3 of us right now.
It has to be the share size, though.
Share size. Explain that to me. Is that the bigger bag?
No, it's not the bag, but you got your yellow regular peanut bag, but then you have it's a shareable size. So, not the big bag, but it's a shareable size, because the regular M&M peanut, it's just not enough. So you have to get a little bit bigger.
We need extra chocolate coated nuts for the mouth.
That's right.
We'll just go with that. It's fine. Okay, I told Bolton I needed a fun question, and that's what he sent me. I was like, I'm gonna go with it. That's fun. Why not? We'll go. And then of course we've got 3 GNCCs left. I want to know, of those 3, which one do you think you're looking forward to the most?
I'd say the one coming up, because it's pretty close to my house, the Mountaineer. It's in Morgantown. It's rocky and gnarly, and I feel like I really excel there, and I feel like we really got the bike dialed right now. I rode the race bike and tested it all summer long, and won the National Enduro on it. And I feel like I've never been more comfortable on a bike before. And Unadilla, I got smoked by Caleb, but I feel like I got the speed to win. I just need to put it together and be with him at the start, and try not to let him check out so early. He's riding good. He's been training with Alden all year, but I feel like I'm definitely looking forward to this race coming up the most. I'm looking forward to all 3, because I feel like I've worked really hard this summer, and I feel like I can go out and win at any time. So definitely the one coming up, I feel like I favored a little bit more than the last 2, and should be good. Hopefully get through these next 2 GNCCs safe and get to 6 days.
That'll be awesome, dude. And I have to say, you looked phenomenal on the sky shot. I love that you guys, I could not do that shit. Like, I can ride a dirt bike in the woods, right? You know? And every now and again, it looks like I do it decently. And that's it. Not fast, not crazy, just decent. But then you guys, not only are you super fast in the woods, you go hit jumps like that and just like totally freaking like, I mean, it's just epic, dude. I don't know. Did you do a bunch of moto like while you were growing up and stuff too, along with all the GNCC stuff you did growing up, or did you just like force yourself to learn how to jump like that?
I didn't really. I mean, I did some moto growing up, but I feel like, you know, the last couple of years, I feel like I've been riding a lot of moto. Just with moto, you can go out and get the high intensity 30-minute moto. You know, you do a 30-minute moto in the woods, you can kind of get lazy a little bit, but on the moto track, you push the whole time, and it's just high intensity. I feel like that's helped me take my training to another level. Is riding more moto, and you know, I feel like you know, my dad, he raced bikes way back when, and he's never really went out and worked with me on a moto track, and I've never really had anybody work with me on a moto track, and I feel like I just pretty much done it all myself on a moto track, and I'm glad I'm not a goon on a moto track and bow air it all the time, but you know, I'm fortunate enough to have a moto track here at the ranch at my house, and you know, I've kind of taught myself how to do some whips and show off for the kids sometimes. And you know, it was tough this year. The sky shot, you couldn't really get a good drive because they had some hay bales, and like in between the hay bales was all choppy and stuff. But I think the last lap, I was just having so much fun trying to pass Strang that I threw a big one on the last lap. But yeah, it's cool that we go there and we get to ride the same track that the moto guys do. You know, that's a pretty famous track for sure. But you know, it's cool to go there. I think they've had like world GPs and stuff there at one time way back when and everything. And it's just cool to go there and ride the same track that those guys do. You know, we don't get to do all of it, but we get to do like the famous gravity cavity.
Yeah. So last question came in from Twitter is from Gargoyle. He said, "Why did DQ drink all the champagne on the podium?"
Oh, he's an alcoholic.
We all have our moments.
No, it's just a tradition. You know, I drink it. My dad drinks it. DQ drinks it. It's just makes things a little sweeter at the end. You know, it's when you get on the podium, even though it's not where I want to be, but third. You know, at the end of the day, anytime I'm on the podium and get to put my sponsors up there to show light them, and you know, it's just good that we're able to tip back the champagne at the end of the day.
Dig it, dude. Well, congrats on being a badass and kicking ass, having fun on a dirt bike. That's one of the things that I love about you. We don't need Bad Thad. I like this Thad. Bad Thad was cool. He was a good time. I liked it. But I like this one that much more because you can tell you're enjoying it a lot more. There's a lot less hate and just a lot more badassery involved. So digging that for sure, man. Keep kicking ass. We look forward to you being back on the podium, if not the top box soon, and then having fun and kicking butt at the ISDE in Spain.
Awesome. See you then, man.
Yeah, dude. Take it easy.
You too.
Peace. Okay, for those of you guys who are wondering, I said I had a special guest. So I wound up getting a chance to chat with Aaron Gwin after he was in the Meta magazine. And Steve, let's just go ahead. He knows that we're calling. We should be good to go on the FaceTimeage. And I texted him after winning the World Cup this year again for 2016, the National Downhill or World Downhill. And I was like, holy crap, dude, let's chat. And he was like, okay, that's awesome. So he said he was going to let us call him into the show and see how this goes. But I didn't want to jinx it. I didn't really know how it was going to go to make sure that this could be one of it's AA. Yep. Should have told you that. But yeah, so hopefully we get a chance to, this works out, it happens, and we see how it goes. But of course, thank you again to our sponsors while we get him called in. I just want to say thank you again to Fly Racing. You can go find out more about those guys at flyracing.com. Kinda Tire, you can find more about those guys at kindatire.com. And of course, SRT Off-Road, you can find out more about those guys at srtoffroad.com. Sponsors make it easy, but they let us do this kind of stuff. So please go support those guys, and just thank you for letting them do that. So, Mr. Aaron Gwin, how the heck is your evening going, kind sir?
Some super chill time. I just got back from Europe last night. First day of off season, so I'm I've been enjoying some good food today and a whole lot of hanging out.
Dude, I know you. Like one of my questions, of the plethora that I was going to talk about, is like, what do you do now? Like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, you have been. If anybody tries to pay attention to your training regimen, it seems like you're very regimented. You're just it's this. So for somebody that lives like that, when all of a sudden it's like, awesome, I get a chance to not have to think about a immediate race coming up. Like, what do I do? Like, so what's that look like for you?
I don't know, man. I guess for me, it looks pretty similar, to be honest, because I enjoy riding my bike and going to the gym and training and all that. So I usually chill for about a week, and then I'm not back on a super serious program right away, but I'm going to the gym and just staying in shape. I enjoy it. So that part never really changes, but I think I've just got more time to kind of do other things. I'm building a house right now, or getting ready to start building a house. So I've been putting a lot of work into that preparation, and we just got all the utilities and everything up on the pad a few weeks ago. So that was pretty exciting. I've had the land for about a year and nothing's been going on. So I'm like, just somebody go up there and dig a hole and fill it back up or do something. So it's cool to start seeing some action happening on that bad boy.
Absolutely. If I have any advice, don't stress out over it, because we built a cabin up in Oklahoma, and it was like the worst year and a half ever. Like, because it was supposed to be like an 8-month process, and then all of a sudden, a year and a half later, you finally have a cabin. You're like, yeah, but it was horrible. So it's like one of those things, whatever they tell you, just add an extra 6 months, and then you might actually make it. So,
yeah,
we'll see.
pretty much it, man. Yeah, I think I'm in no hurry. I got a cool house now. I'm pretty stoked with where I live, so I figure I'll learn some stuff along the way and take my time and make sure that it's perfect when I get done. So
Absolutely.
I'm enjoying the process for the most part, but like you said, it always seems to take a bit longer than you hope.
Yeah. So it's been crazy to watch your arrival into, the world stage racing downhill. And it's even weirder. Well, not weirder, but it's even more interesting that your background is actually in moto. So were you, and I don't know this, and this is an interesting, it was one of your, did you race Loretta Lynn's? Like, was that a goal for you as a kid? Or were you kind of just a little bit more of a fun moto rider, who was out there kind of just trying to make it happen? All right, well, let's kill it and see if we can get it back in, Steven. So as we try to get him back up there, let's see what's going on. We're going to try to see, let's talk about some fly racing stuff, of course. So flyracing.com, you can go check out some of the Kinetic mesh gear. If you haven't had a chance to, they have their 2017 gear out that you should be able to get at your local dealer or your favorite online retailer if any of that stuff were to do it for you. Obviously, we would appreciate you supporting your local dealer, but if you do have online resources, we potentially would have some links that would be coming for you to enjoy that kind of stuff. Okay, so what was your upbringing in moto to kind of like make you start crossing over into downhill?
For me, man, I think I used to race BMX as a young kid,
Awesome.
from 4 years old to about 8 or 9. So I kind of had a bicycle background behind me before I got into moto, which helped that transition. And then when I went from moto to downhill, it kind of really helped. It was like the perfect blend of the two sports. I ended up kind of just working some average jobs for a couple years when I finished racing motocross, and I had a good friend of mine, Cody Warren, who was the national champ here in America for downhill at the time.
Yeah.
And he invited me out to ride, and yeah, man, I just picked it up pretty quick and really enjoyed it. So it wasn't really anything. I mean, the riding skills transferred over, but yeah, it wasn't like a connection within the industry or anything like that kind of got me into it. It was just it kind of just randomly happened.
That's pretty retarded and retardedly awesome. What was the event that you kind of like got on a downhill bike and that you raced and were like, whoa, I want to do this more?
Yeah, I think, well, Cody invited me out to ride. We have a local race series here in California, in Fontana. It's a winter series, and I went out there. He invited me out to ride. I had ridden downhill maybe once or twice, and he was like, man, you should come out to the local race series and race. It's a lot of fun, and you probably do pretty good. So I was like, all right. So I showed up like in my moto helmet and I think like a flannel shirt, Vans shoes. And he let me borrow one of his bikes, and I was like, "What class should I race?" And he's like, "Oh, just sign up for pro. You'll be fine." I was like, "All right." So we just kind of winged it, man. Signed up for pro, and I ended up getting third. Actually, it was just a local race, but it was still there's some fast guys there, and so I don't know. Pretty quick, I kind of started getting the racing bug back. So I ended up doing most of that winter series, and finishing like in the top 3 or top 5 consistently. And pretty quick, it kind of just turned into something that I was really enjoying. And I got a phone call from kind of just a longtime friend now, Rich Hausman.
Mm-hmm.
He was running a development team for a company called Yeti, and he hit me up and said, "Hey, we'll give you a bike. You got to figure out the rest, but are you interested?" And I was like, "Heck yeah, let's do it." So I was supposed to start college, actually. I was enrolled in all my classes, had all my books, was supposed to start the next week, and I figured school will always be there, racing might not be, so I took my books back and went downhilling, and yeah, it's crazy, dude, how it's worked out.
Oh my gosh! So you probably took that book money to like put it into literally into racing. You know, you never get as much when you buy the books. You pay way more than you do when you get them when you sell them back. So it always sucks. But that's pretty intense, and that's interesting. I did not know the Rich Hausman side of the story. Obviously, we all know what you did at Yeti, how well you did there. Went on to Trek, and then of course specialized in now your own team with YT. And I say your own team. Do you potentially own any of the YT mob, or is it something that you just kind of help piece together, but it's something that they financially, put, I guess, hold all the cards in?
Yeah, well, actually, Martin Whiteley is the team owner. I basically contacted him when I was in discussions with YT about having a team. I didn't really want to take on the kind of the financial and insurance and kind of all the responsibilities that go with actually owning a team directly. Martin was in a position where I've ridden for him in the past on Trek. He does an amazing job, and so I basically had a title sponsor, and I felt like we could get the other sponsorship and funds we needed to run a program. And so I called Martin and said, "Hey, do you want to run it for me?" And he was like, "Absolutely." So yeah, dude, it was just the perfect fit. So Martin is the owner, but he basically lets me make all the decisions, and I was the one that put it together. I negotiated all the deals with the sponsors and the co-sponsors to get the budget we needed to run the program, pick the parts that I wanted to ride and the people that I wanted to work with. So yeah, between him and then YT obviously being the title sponsor and contributing the most, we just kind of made it happen, man. So it's crazy how it came together, but I'm super stoked.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, when you see changes like that happen with someone that at your caliber, I mean, you've done such a great job winning so many times, not just events of their own, but also overalls. It's kind of a question. They're like, "Oh my gosh, why would he do this? He's doing so good on this bike." But you've proved to people that you not only do you know how to train and you know how to ride, but you know how to adapt. And I think that that's interesting. So in that adapting that you've done and what you were talking about where you've had a chance to work hand in hand with these sponsors, like we've just seen the new TRP brakes that you've kind of helped come out with, and then some of the tires, I believe, too, that do like the Aaron Gwin special. Like, what's been the most fun? Like that one product that you're just like, this has been way more awesome to work on than you thought it would be.
Dude, I don't know. It's hard to tell. Like we've got a lot of great sponsors on the team, and it's kind of crazy because a lot of them are not new to cycling, but kind of new to like top level downhill racing. So like we signed on with Onza tires, so I've been developing a new signature tire that I should have in my hands in the next week or two. We'll have it at the Interbike show in Vegas next week, I believe, and so I'm really excited about that. As you said, TRP, we've been developing new brakes all year. And those guys have been, dude, incredible to work with since day one. And then everybody at E13, rims, cranks, all the drivetrain stuff. It's really been, I don't know, man. Like we got a lot of different projects going on right now with quite a few different sponsors, and everybody's been equally awesome to work with. So I think the thing I'm most excited about is just the team package as a whole and all the people that we're working with. When I signed the deals with each team sponsor, the product was important, but I really wanted to get the vibe from each brand that they were excited to be a part of the program, and they wanted to really grind it out to try to make the best product. And even if we didn't have it from the first race, I believed in the people we were working with that we would get it eventually. And, we pretty much have that already. So it's I think the whole team and everybody involved as a whole has been, just a lot of fun for me.
Not even a full year in. Yeah, and you guys obviously, you guys know what you're doing, period. Like, it's awesome to see. Here's an interesting, maybe you know this fact, maybe you don't. How many YT Tuesdays do you think, or the TUES sold after you started just totally kicking ass on that bike? Because nobody thought you were going to do it. Everybody was like, and then all of a sudden you were just rocking and rolling. I mean, could they even keep them in stock, I guess?
Yeah, I think they're selling them about as quick as they can make them right now. They were already doing really well for a new company before I got on board, because the bike is, it's amazing as is before I even got on it. And they've got a really good kind of brand image and the way they go about doing things. But I think me signing on here in America, especially with this crowd and everything, from what I hear, they haven't told me exact numbers, but I think they're killing it. So it's perfect, man. I mean, we were able to win our very first World Cup together. I'm racing a bone stock frame all year long, which is different because a lot of the guys, factory teams, they're racing full prototype bikes and stuff that you can't buy. Mine is, if you go online and order it, you'll get the same frame that I've been racing and winning on all year. So it's been a really cool story, man. The bike's amazing, and they've been really cool to work with. So yeah, it's cool, the success they're having because of me and the success I'm having because of them. It's been perfect.
That's awesome. It literally, like, I was like, we're in Texas, right? And there were times we used to go to New Mexico and go to Chili Challenge a lot. Final Descent back when that was still going on, way back in the day, which was a ton of fun. And I wish that me and my kids were just old enough to be able to go do that again, because I want to buy your bike right now. And I want to go downhill and again, like, because I'm a big dirt bike guy now, right? Like, but man, I miss those downhill roots days and shit. And I'm just, you've made me want to buy one, and it'll happen soon. So with your team, I think it's interesting the way that you guys put it together. I wanted to know, Angel, I wanted you to talk to about that a little bit, because I know that you said you had a lot of decisions to make there. And so why bring on someone that and I think I would get it. I would imagine there's a lot of financial reasons why you have somebody that you can help foster and bring up into the ranks, opposed to having somebody that could potentially be equal caliber, because obviously higher pay raises, all the other stuff that goes with that. But I wanted to know what you guys thought about when you picked a rider, and then obviously when you picked Angel, like what you were looking for, and then you found it in Angel.
Yeah, well, yeah, like you said, there was kind of a wide range of things we were looking for with the second rider. I mean, the two big things. One, we just wanted somebody that would fit into the team really well, that I'd be excited to work with, and I could really help, and they could be a benefit to me as well. And then obviously budget as well, like who would kind of fit in. And one of the biggest things, we just wanted a young kid that didn't really have a lot of support. YT as a brand stands for young talent. That's how it started. It was geared around young riders and trying to give them a great product that they could afford. So it was pretty important to myself and to YT to try to find a young kid that didn't have a lot of support and kind of just give him a shot at, being able to have support at the highest level and get a chance to kind of go show everybody what he's got. So it was tough to pick, man. I had a few different people we were looking at, and at the end of the day, I didn't really know Angel that well. But Martin, the team owner, had been helping him out for about a year, and he told me about him. I'd seen some of his results. They were really good. And he just said he was a great kid, great family, awesome to work with. And so after I met him, I was like, yeah, he's a perfect fit for what we're looking for. So yeah, dude, he had a rough year this year with just some injuries that were kind of just lingering all year. He's got to have like some shoulder surgery now to kind of fix some stuff up. So that was a bit of a bummer, but he trooped it out, man, and I think he's got a lot more to show. So hopefully next year things will go his way a little bit more. But yeah, we're definitely going to have him back, and he's been a really cool teammate to have on the program.
That's bitching, dude. So what do you guys? I got two more questions for you. I know that we don't want to keep you too long. What does next year look like for you guys? You guys did great this year, right? Like, is there an evolution to what you guys did this year, or is there, now that obviously what you have is a solid base, you just kind of strengthen that more so that your foundation stays strong to then maybe grow more in the future?
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, I think we've got a 3-year deal right now with YT, and so I think coming into it, we really wanted to just be as good as we could be this year, kind of see where we were at and keep growing into next year. But we ended up going out and basically winning the first World Cup. So it was like, we pretty much started right at the top, which I had a feeling and I believed that we would be close there because of all the testing I was doing in the off season and just how good I was feeling. But yeah, so now we're just in the process of already just fine tuning things. We've got some plans with the team and the bike for next year, that I believe will be even better. I think it's just going to keep getting better. So we're just yeah, trying to make little adjustments here and little improvements wherever we can, and just kind of just have a good time as a team. That's kind of the whole thing with us and YT is good times is kind of the motto. So I think we're just yeah, trying to keep the vibe light and fun, and try to smoke everybody on the weekends.
I like it. No, and you've done that phenomenally. So it's like the good times and the smoking everybody on the weekends. Luckily enough, from all the video work, it looks like it's been happening. Speaking of the video work, excellent job on who you hired. I know you guys gave him thanks at the end of your most recent team video, and I'm totally spacing on his name, but please give him a shout out. But man, because the reason is not only do the guys that you have videoing capture good footage, but they tell a great story, and so many people miss that aspect of the production of these videos. And that's the one thing, like, I really have had a great time enjoying y'all's videos because of the story that's told along with the great footage. So
Yeah, thank you, man. That's something that's definitely important to us. I think in the past, teams I've ridden for and teams in general, they kind of get this real serious racer vibe and doesn't really show who the racers really are. And that was important to me when we started this team and we were looking for a videographer, and the style we wanted to do it. I was like, man, we got to keep it. We need to tell the story and really get a good vibe about, the rider's personality, the staff personality, and kind of just show what it's like make it just more fun, not so serious, even though there is a serious side to racing. So yeah, Brock is the videographer, Suspended Productions. He lives right here in San Diego, close to me. I'd worked with him on a few projects, and when we were looking for a filmer, I called him up and I was like, hey man, I got this opportunity. Do you want to travel and do this? So it's a pretty cool story with the team. Brock's never had a World Cup team or experience on that level, and so we got him on board, and he's just, like you said, he just killed it, man. He's done an amazing job all year. And then Isaac, our photographer, I think he's like 19 years old. He's from the UK. Same thing, not a lot of experience. So our whole thing with the team, I think, was just trying to give talented young dudes a shot at kind of pursuing their dreams, whether it was my riding teammate or the staff or whoever, and trying to pay everybody on the team well and really make them feel valued for their skills. So yeah, man, it's been a lot of fun for sure.
dig it. Okay, before we let you go, because of the fact that I have to ask this, when potentially sometime in the off season, please tell me it could happen, that we could see you at some kind of off-road dirt bike race. Like, I would love to see that shit, man. That would be so epic.
Yeah, dude, I'm fortunate. I have a really good relationship with KTM. They're right here in Temecula. They're 10 minutes from my house. So I've got, I'm on like a VIP bike program. So I get a couple of bikes a year and I return them and they give me new ones the next year. So dude, they treat me well. It's pretty amazing. And I love to ride. I ride every week. That's one of the things I've been the most excited about now that I got some time off, is I can really get back on my dirt bike. So we'll see. I think I'm going to race Day in the Dirt at Glen Helen in a couple of months. I was thinking about doing the last Hare and Hound race. I've been getting super into like more desert and off-road style riding the last few years.
Absolutely.
And I went down to Baja with some friends of mine and did all the pre-running for San Felipe a little over a year ago, almost 2 years ago, I guess now, and that was like an amazing time. So I think I'm going to try to go down for the 1,000 in November and do all the pre-running down there and hang out with the boys. So yeah, dude, I've definitely got some plans to start racing a little bit this off season, hopefully.
That's wicked, dude. And yeah, I got a chance to do the Baja Rally down in Baja in 2014. That was really cool. I don't know if you know anything about rally, but it's much There's a lot that goes on with the road book and kind of navigation and GPS and all that kinds of stuff. But what I like is that even like guys like Toby Price and Kurt Caselli and all those guys, they are the ones that are doing top speed stuff, not dudes like me. I think you might dig some of that, but then the Rip to Cabo with Cameron Steele and those dudes, it's from Tecate down to Cabo. It's about 7 to 8 days, 1,600 miles. That would it's right in the middle of your season. When you retire, we'll get you on the trip, dude. You might they're gonna try to get you to trade in your hat for a big M, but I won't let them.
Yeah, man. I've been saying it for a few years. I'm like, when I retire, I'd like to do some off-road racing and kind of get into it because I enjoy it so much. I've got one of my close friends here, Ivan Ramirez. He lives right down the street.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's one of my best friends here, and we ride and train together quite a bit. And yeah, I think we might try to do the team race. We did the team race at the Caselli Ride Day at Glen Helen last year, and we won that thing. So we got to defend the title this year. So I'm sure we'll be out there battling it out again. Bitching.
Well, yeah, I wish that I lived closer to California so you could show me how much faster you would leave me than just like everybody else I know. It's I like to follow people's dust way more than their actual rear tire. It's pretty pathetic, but we have fun doing it, right? Well, dude, Mr. Aaron Gwin, I really appreciate you taking the time to come on our awesome little web show here, and congrats on doing such a fantastic job. Not just this past year, what's just been so awesome for somebody like myself, as a huge fan of the sport, is to have watched your progression to come on as you did with Yeti, and then work your way into Trek, specialize, and have done so fantastic there to now literally create your own team. To be able to put that together and to come out and kick ass on that thing. It's just going to be so much more fun to continue to watch that evolution as you work your way into the sport, as not a racer and then behind the scenes, because I think you're going to be able to bring all that knowledge to so many more younger racers, 5-10 years down the road, whatever that looks like for you retirement-wise. So.
Yeah, man. Thank you very much. It's been an amazing season, and so stoked to hear everybody else being stoked, and thanks to everybody else out there that's been supporting me and the team and the whole program. It's been a lot of fun, and like I said, I think it's just going to keep getting better, so we're going to try to just keep having a good time and do the best we can at the races. But man, I'm very happy with how everything's going.
Bitchin'. Well, you go tell Ivan Ramirez that I saw him posted pictures about riding that rally bike, and that we need to go do some rally riding, and that's some cool shit. And he needs to come back on the show. He should stop ignoring and no more ignoring the text messages.
There you go.
Right, dude. All right. Well, you enjoy California and your time off, and thank you again, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, man. Have a good one.
Peace.
See you guys.
Bye. Hell yeah. Well, I have to say, the fact that this show has gotten me on the air with Kurt Caselli, it's got me on the air with Aaron Gwin, it's got me on the air with Thad Duvall, it's got me on the air with Caleb Russell, Charlie Mullins, so many dudes. This is pretty epic, and I just want to say thank you to you guys, anybody that's watching the show, because it's because of the fact that you guys have tuned in to any of the stuff that we've done that has allowed us to do this. So just thank you very much to you guys and to our sponsors, to Steven, to my wife, to everybody that's really helped support us continue to try to do what we're doing with Seat Time. And obviously, within that, support us. We have the Team USA Fuel Up shirt. 50% of the proceeds go to the Team USA. We're going to write them a check. Once everything clears, send it over to those guys, and they can use that however they want. They might be able to buy 2 more tires. They might be able to buy 200 tires. It's all up to you guys. So we want to be able to make sure that we write them a good check. So please grab that link. seattime.co/teamusa. Make sure you share it. Make sure you grab a t-shirt and send it to all your friends. Of course, we will be live again next week. We're going to do some more Enduro Cross talking. We're going to do some more GNCC talking, some National Enduro stuff. I did sign up for the National Enduro in Oklahoma today. I'm on row 62. I think I got the letter C. That may or may not change. Sometimes it does as things shift and move as you lead up to the event, but I'm fine with that. We're going to go with it. So if you guys are going to be at that National Enduro in Oklahoma, October 22nd, definitely reach out to me. Let us know that you're going to be there. We'd love to hang out with you guys, have fun, just kick butt, and and do what we do here at Seat Time. The good thing is you can find us all over the internet. Of course, our website is seattime.co. That's where you can find all the fun news, all the archives, all that kinds of stuff. You can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/seattime. excuse me, on Twitter, it's @seattime_CEO, and on Instagram, it's @seattime. Of course, we're on YouTube. Give us a subscribe there. You can find us on Stitcher and iTunes if you just want to subscribe to the audio only. Thank you again to Fly Racing for their support, for Kenda Tires for their support, and SRT Off-Road for their support. If you guys haven't watched the Seat Time Adventures video yet from this year, go watch the beginning of it. Steven has now started a documentary. It's going to be a good time. That'll be a whole 15 minutes for you guys to dig in to what we did this year on the trip. It's going to be a lot of fun. I just say thank you. It's been a lot of fun, and I guess we'll see you in a week. Remember, always enjoy a pint full of awesome.